colored flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Stateside Footy MLS live stream. It is going down tonight as Inter Miami will play host to the New York Red Bulls in an Eastern Conference, showdown, beatdown, whatever the case may be. It kind of has that feel that perhaps the New York Red Bulls might be a little bit in over their head tonight. Of course, we're going to get into it, and good Lord, man. Hey, by the way, usually I like to kind of use my OBS and I like to use the green screen. Turns out that the CPU isn't exactly quick enough to handle the graphics. So unfortunately, we're going back old school. But of course, it will be taken care of before World Cup 2026. Because quite frankly, I want to do something absolutely fantastic for the World Cup. But that being said, man, tonight's live stream, we don't have the clock tonight because, again, I guess I'm just not digitally up to date. So it is what it is. We're going to have fun doing it anyways. Quickly, I want to say what's up to all the homies on TikTok Live tuning into tonight's MLS live stream. And of course, I want to shout out to all the homies on X that are tuning in. Thank you for doing that. And of course, all those that are tuning in via YouTube as well. I appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and also hit the notification bell as well. So you do not miss out on any upcoming Stateside Footy content. Of course, tonight, the MLS live stream, Inter Miami versus the New York Red Bulls. And tomorrow it is back to the Premier League as the Tottenham Hotspur will make their trek up to Newcastle on time to take on the Sunderland Black Cats in Premier League action. And then on Monday, I will be joined by Jeff Lageson of Prost International as we debate the U.S. men's national team World Cup roster. On Tuesday, it is U.S. M&T Yanks abroad. And next weekend, Billy T will join me for Change from Tottenham. And I believe that is going to be Sunday afternoon as we kind of go over the first two matches under Roberto De Zerbi. So that should be fun. Plenty of good shit that is coming up here on Stateside Footy. So please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Inter Miami, of course, opened up new stadium at Miami Freedom Park, and that thing looks absolutely goddamn gorgeous compared to the shithole that they were playing in at Chase Stadium. I don't know if you guys had been down there in Fort Lauderdale, but Chase Stadium was essentially a high school football stadium that kind of got refurbished into a college football stadium. And of course, they played there for the first couple of years of their existence as this new shiny toy was being built there. I believe it was right next to Marlins Park, if I'm correct, right? That was the site of the old Orange Bowl down there in Miami. Needless to say, it looks pretty goddamn sweet. And for any of you guys out there like me, man, straight up ADD kids of the 90s, right? You get excited with shiny new toys, right? So it looks pretty goddamn sweet. So hopefully hopefully, the broadcast does it justice. We have Rich Rod 908 in the house who says, go New Jersey Red Bulls. Yeah, that's exactly right. They play in Paterson, New Jersey, right down the street from Kearney, New Jersey, right? Which is apparently supposed to be the birthplace of U.S. soccer, according to Tony Miola, Tab Ramos, and John Harkes. But yes, it is the New Jersey Metro Stars / Red Bulls taking on the Miami Fusion / Inter Miami CFers. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get into tonight's starting lineups, brought to you in part by Budweiser. No, I'm just playing. We're not brought to you in part by anything, but it kind of sounded funny. All right, here's your starting 11 for your Inter Miami CFFC Pelicans. They're going to be lined up in a 4-4-1-1. In goal tonight will be last year's MLS goalkeeper of the year, Dane St. Clair, who turned down a shitload of money to stay in Minnesota to go play with Messi, and joined them on a free. So he is going to be in net tonight. The back four for Inter Miami on the right side will be Ian Frey. Your center back pairings will be Falcon and Maciel. And on the left-hand side is going to be former Spurs left back Sergio Reguilon. The midfield four, on the right-hand side, it will be Silvetti. On the left-hand side, it's going to be Segovia. And then, of course, the midfield partnership will be Bright and Rodrigo de Paul. Underneath will be, of course, soccer Jesus himself, Lionel Messi. And up top will be Bergerame. And of course, he is back now in the starting 11 for the first time in a few games. So there you go. That is how Inter Miami will line up under head coach Javier Mascherano. Of course, by the way, today Olande will be out. He is doubtful with a hamstring injury. And of course, on the bench for Miami will be Rocco Rios Novo, who last year was in net for MLS Cup. Fagundo Mora, Gonzalo Luan, Noah Allen, David Ayala, David Ruiz, Santiago Morales, Daniel Pintar, and Luis Chomper Suarez. And of course, you guys remember what Luis Suarez did. That was excellent. Actually, it really wasn't, but it was still funny. Everybody still remembers that he took a bite out of somebody. For the New York Metro Stars / Red Bulls, I still remember that. In net tonight, by the way, they're going to be lined up in a 4-3-3. In net will be U.S. men's national team keeper Ethan Horvath. A back four off the left-hand side will be Dos Santos. Off the right-hand side will be Marshall Rudy. And, of course, the center back pairing tonight will be Veloder and Nealis. Midfield three off the right-hand side will be Donkor. Off the left-hand side will be Emil Forsberg. And centrally will be Mr. Mehmeti. And the attacking three will have Ruvalcava off the left-hand side, Cade Cowell on the right, and up top will be the wonder kid, Mr. Julian Hall, who is getting off to quite the start. And, with all this Xavier Gozo talk, nobody seems to, want to talk about Julian Hall as far as the World Cup goes, but neither should be. That's a different story for a different day. The injuries for those that will be out today will be AJ Marcucci, who's got the ligament injury, so he is out. Justin Che with a hamstring, he's out, and Cameron Harper is doubtful with a little bit of a knee tweak. On the bench for the Red Bulls will be John McCarthy, Juan Mina, Omar Valencia, Gustav Berggren. Looks like it's going to be Jay Obunji, Nguyen Bendetti, Eric Maxime Chopo Moteng, who is generally, I guess you can say, he kind of was their primary striker, but not anymore. Mohamed Sofo and Rafael Mascara. And that is how former U.S. men's national team midfielder Michael Bradley will set up his lineup tonight. All right. So as I said at the beginning of tonight's show, this is kind of an interesting matchup, really, when you kind of look at it, because in the Eastern Conference, obviously Nashville sits atop of the Eastern Conference. But that being said, we're only in what, match week 7. They're sitting on 13 points. Last week, obviously dropped one. I believe it was, where the hell did they lose? We actually did the live stream. Let's find out. They lost to Chicago. That's right. 1-0 in Chicago, and what ended up being a very ugly game. But that being said, with the loss, they weren't able to necessarily kind of establish that type of supremacy up atop the Eastern Conference, considering that there's 4 teams sitting on 11 points right behind them. Inter Miami is certainly one of them. Sitting on 11 points, they sit in 4th place. But the interesting thing about it, through the first 6 weeks, 3 wins, okay, that's great, but they also have 2 losses and a draw, and 11 goals for the good. And here's the interesting thing: 10 goals to the bad, so only a goal differential of +1. And this is kind of interesting, considering that last season, Inter Miami was actually kind of sneaky good defensively, and not only did their back 4 really set the tone for their possession, but that being said, you also had Sergio Busquets, and you also had Jordi Alba a part of that. And when you're unable to replace not just the production but also the IQ, it really takes a lot. It takes a lot, essentially away from that defensive acumen, right? And so from that standpoint, when you have essentially field generals that is marshaling those back lines, generally speaking, you're going to operate actually quite well. This season, you don't necessarily have that leadership, and because of it, through the first 6 weeks, Miami is leaking goals. Now, that's not to say that they're not talented. It just, when you're kind of looking at it, you have a new defensive mid, and you also have a new left back in Sergio Reguilon. And so from that standpoint, maybe it's an issue of continuity, maybe it's an issue of chemistry, or maybe it is, as of right now, Javier Mascherano is, trying to get some of these guys on the same page at this moment. Now, it's a little bit of alarming, considering that outside of the 10 goals that have been giving up, there's only a few more teams that are kind of in that territory. Toronto has leaked 11. The Red Bulls themselves have leaked 13. And so that's also kind of alarming as well, too. They're sitting at 10 points, only 9 goals for the good. Now, granted, they've won 3 and drawn 2. But that being said, the New York Red Bulls, a -4 differential tells me that they're just not consistently scoring enough goals. That being said, only 1 loss. And so from that standpoint, maybe they're not necessarily getting the results that they like, but, at the very least, they're still getting draws. So it's still better than nothing. You also have FC Cincinnati that have leaked 16 so far, which is actually incredibly alarming. Atlanta United, 11. Philly has leaked 12. Montreal has leaked 19, and Orlando City, beautiful Orlando City, has leaked 23 goals on the season, 5 to the good, and a -18 differential. But that being said, we know exactly what Miami is all about. Miami want to be in a position where they can go back to back, and from that standpoint, as it is, when you're kind of looking at some of the things that they're looking to do, which was win CONCACAF Champions Cup, that didn't necessarily happen. So from that standpoint, they bowed out a little earlier than usual when it came to progressing in that tournament. It just didn't work out for them, as Nashville was the one to take care of that in the round of 16. So they weren't able to realize that leg of the journey. But that being said, they still have Leagues Cup. They still have the ability to potentially play for a supporter shield. You probably would assume that Inter Miami will be in the market in the summer if things don't improve. You would probably assume that they're going to be players either to strengthen on the defensive side, or at the very least add more add more attacking flair. And of course, I would probably assume at some point today, Hollande will be back, and that certainly will play a role. For the New York Red Bulls, really, this is for them, as far as I'm concerned, this is an opportunity for them to continue to grow, because they are, as far as I'm concerned, they are breaking in some very good young pieces. And of course, Cade Cowell, he's been around a little bit, but yet that being said, he is also still one of those guys that are still, that is still trying to reach that upper level of what he's able to provide. But really, it comes down to Julian Hall, Mehmeti, and Dos Santos, the three guys that these three young guys that Michael Bradley are banking on. Two of these guys that have the potential to not only reach the heights in Major League Soccer, but also within a few years make that move over to Europe. One of them, specifically Julian Hall, looks to be something that potentially could be, something special for the U.S. men's national team as well too, and also learning that trade under a guy that has been to the highest of highs for the national team, and Michael Bradley. That certainly is fantastic way to start off his pro career. So we are almost ready to start this thing off from Miami's Freedom Park. And I'm curious to know how you guys feel about this one. Is this going to be a situation where where New York can go down there and get a result, or is this something? Are you expecting Inter Miami to potentially get three past them, get four past them, hold a bulk of the possession, because that's kind of what we have expected from this Javier Mascherano led Inter Miami, where it is really all about the possession, the creativity of a guy like Leo Messi, and it's not just are they going to score, but how much they are going to win by. But that being said, it's kind of an interesting matchup, right? Like I'm waiting for the New York Red Bulls to really solidify on the defensive side and really just kind of just really let some of that leadership take over. Certainly, I think New York is probably going to make the playoffs, but right now we're only 6-7 weeks into the season, so it's really kind of hard to tell exactly what the identity of that team is going to be. Let's see. We have Natesky in the house. RIFC TID, man. I love it. Good to see you, Natesky. Rich Rod, Harrison, New Jersey, right across the bridge from Newark, which is a shithole, by the way. No disrespect to the fine folks of Newark, New Jersey, but I was not necessarily all that impressed. Not really impressed with Harrison either, but it is what it is. I went to Red Bull Arena, I think a couple years ago. This was before John Tolkien got moved to Holstein Kiel, and I went out there just to kind of check it out. I actually like the stadium. I'm not a big fan of Northern Jersey. So let's see. New York Red Bulls win versus Inter Miami. Let's see, 2-0. Go goal pressure and goal strength. Okay, so Vela W2X says NYRB. All right, cool. It's okay. Newark is a ghetto, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Here's the thing, man. I actually have some friends that are from North Bergen, and some of those areas where they grew up there, and so of course they have a different view on it, and I guess that's normal, right? So we all have a tendency to romanticize where we came from, and certainly those that come from Northern Jersey, I get it. By the way, just to recap everyone, as the first leg of the CONCACAF Champions League, the quarterfinals have come and gone. Nashville and Club America played to a 0-0 draw, so that it will be coming up on Tuesday. LAFC absolutely battered Cruz Azul 3-0, and so now this one will switch to Mexico. Tigres beat Seattle, my beloved Seattle Sounders, 2-0, and what was, I think, a little bit of a disappointing match, because really all the Sounders needed was one. just to kind of set the tone for that return leg back in Seattle. And so they actually essentially have to play a perfect game in order to move on. And Toluca beat the LA Galaxy 4-2. The interesting thing, though, the Galaxy did score 2 road goals in that one. And by the way, I absolutely fucking hate the road goal rule. Me personally, nobody else uses it anymore. But that being said, it is still in effect. So the return legs on Tuesday will be Cruz Azul hosting LAFC. And so from that standpoint, Cruz Azul still has their work cut out for them. And it feels like they have to play a perfect game in order for them to advance. Club America will host Nashville. And so this is literally the first team that scores a goal. If it's Nashville, then that pretty much obviously road goal sews that up for Nashville. It would be nice to see at least an MLS team progress to the final. Whether or not that is going to happen is yet to be seen. The LA Galaxy will host Toluca at whatever the hell they're calling it now in Carson, California. And the Sounders will host Tigres on Wednesday. And so that is shaping up to be a interesting quarterfinal. In Major League Soccer, this weekend, as of right now, Toronto and FC Cincinnati played to a 1-1 draw. Kevin Denke got a red card in the 71st minute. Toronto was not able to take advantage of it, as Toronto, actually, their only goal came from an own goal in the 83rd minute from Gilberto Flores. But Kenjay Mamba Dern scored in the 90+2, and so that's how that one finished off. Atlanta United beat Philadelphia 3-1, and so Philadelphia season, good Lord, man, it's I hate to be a Union supporter at this stage, but Atlanta did beat them 3-1. As Emmanuel Latte-Lot scored in the 28th minute, Thomas Jacob in the 47th, and Alexei Moranchuk in the 68th minute. Augustin Anello scored in the 87th minute for Philadelphia, but that was pretty much all there was to write about that one. Nashville beat Columbus today 1-0. They get the goal from Heine Mukhtar in the 90+4, and so Nashville gets the 3 points. Where are we at? So, actually, that was last week. Sorry about that. Yeah, that was last week. That's funny. Here we go. Yeah, so Philadelphia beat Montreal today. I apologize, guys. 2-1. Japhet Suri scored in the 55th minute, and Jesus Bueno in the 70th minute. Yvonne Jaime scored in the 23rd minute for Montreal. That one went down. Nashville is playing Charlotte currently at the moment, and that is 0-0. Let's see. The Galaxy beat Austin 2-1. Portland beat LAFC 2-1. Right now, in the 4th minute, New England versus DC United, Vancouver versus NYCFC, and then, of course, this game is about to kick off as we are almost set for this one. As we are getting set. In the VAR booth today will be David Berry and Claudio Badea. Say that name 3 times fast. And there's Rodrigo de Paul. And Miami will be playing from left to right. And we are underway here in new stadium and Miami, I guess the new Miami Freedom Park. And it looks like Miami is going to try to push that down the left-hand side, but they're going to have to think that one over. Silvetti will play it into Maciel as that one gets pushed over to Falcone. And now Frey will try to play this one down the left-hand side, right-hand side, and it's Rodrigo de Paul who will play it back to Falcone. And Miami now will reset as this thing gets pushed to the left-hand side and now gets played back all the way to Dane St. Clair. As it looks like the Red Bulls are doing a good job of pressing Dane St. Clair as that one nearly was taken away. As Bright will play it back to St. Clair, and again, Miami does figure out a way as Segovia will play it forward. And now the Red Bulls had an opportunity, but an errant pass looking for Forsberg gives it right back to Miami. And Miami will try to hold possession, and it's Falcone. And it is Maciel who will play it all the way to the left-hand side. And here's Segovia, who has to play it down to Sergio Reguilon. And this thing will meet all the way back to Dane St. Clair. This is actually kind of a dangerous area, but that ball will go off past the right-hand touchline as Bright was looking for Sergio Reguilon. So the New York Red Bulls now will take things over, and it's Nealis. And they're going to try to push this thing down the left-hand side. There's a ball over the top, looking for Forsberg, just a little too high, and right into the arms of Dane St. Clair. As Miami now tries to play long. And looks like the Red Bulls will have possession here, except that was a bad pass. Looks like it was, what was it, Donker trying to play a 1-2, and now Miami is going to try to play this one long. Here's Silvetti in the box. Oh, and Silvetti goes down. There is no call, as it looked like it was a hip check. And the ref says, play on. Good Lord, see, that actually looked like it was a penalty right there. Unbelievable. So here come the Red Bulls now, and this is one of the bigger issues with Major League Soccer, in my opinion. Refereeing is just so ass backwards. And it literally is, you know, you literally can do pretty much anything you want in this league. It has to be so blatant to actually get a call. And oh, by the way, like ticky-tack fouls actually get called more than these type of fouls where it's unreal. But Red Bulls nonetheless will hold possession here, as that one will make its way to Nealis, as they're going to try to put this one all the way to Marshall Rudy off the right-hand side as they try to play one forward. And here's Donker now as he plays one forward. In the box, there's nobody there. That's going to get played out. And I think they're going to say offside. Ooh, as they're showing this one again, and yeah, it looked like Silvetti just takes a hip check right there. They're going to say, yeah, it is offside. So Miami will play out from the back of the goal kick here, as eventually it'll make its way out off the left-hand touchline right there. So this will be a throw-in for Miami. As there's head coach Michael Bradley. So it looks like digital nomad. That's funny. As Miami will try to play it up. That's a good little touch right there for Silvetti, who will play it up. Segovia to Silvetti. And there's going to be a foul, and they're going to say this one is against Bergerame right there, against Mehmeti. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. It's I'm from the city next to New York, also mostly ghetto, but I live in a small, nice part of it now. Personally, over the city life. Yeah, me too. I'm trying to move to the country. As that ball will find Dane St. Clair now, as Falcone will play this one forward. Last touch by Miami as it went out. And it looks like it was Dos Santos last to touch it. As Miami will play it in, they're going to have to play this one back as Falcone will find Dane St. Clair. So they will try to switch things up to the left-hand side. The press is going to come in, and Reguilon is going to have to play this one forward. But right there is Silvetti, and he's got space off the half turn as he pushes forward. As it looks like Bright was hassled, but Segovia was there. Miami will hold possession now. And here's Messi. Nice little touch right there as Bright will play it off. As DePaul will push it down the right-hand side. Here's DePaul. Ball in. And that's good defense as that's headed out. And it looks like there's going to be a foul on the play. No, I think they're saying Miami corner. Okay. Looked like Frey fouled Dos Santos right there, but apparently last touch by New York. So Miami is gifted a corner here, and it'll be Messi taking the corner as they'll play this one short. As DePaul hands it back to Messi, and now Messi will cut in. Oh, he just absolutely roasted him. There's a ball in. Ooh, and it goes right through the 6-yard box right there. And it was Berterame who completely missed it. That was a very good ball into the 6-yard box. And Messi just absolutely burns Emil Forsberg. And he plays one right across. And yeah, Berterame right there. Just couldn't get a foot on it. That should have been 1-0 Miami right there. Nonetheless, Miami will have possession. Excuse me, New York will have possession here. As it'll be Mehmeti here. And now it'll be Dos Santos trying to play one forward. Intercepted right there. As Bright now will play one forward to Messi. And now there's the switch to the left-hand side. Here's Silvetti. Silvetti 1v1 to the box. Oh, nice little pass. Regulon keeps it in. And it does get out, but they're going to say Miami corner again. As Silvetti hit the overlap with Sergio Regulon, who keeps it in. Actually, that was last touch by Messi, but they're giving Miami a corner here. Ugh. I guess it's good to be the king. So Miami will have their second corner here inside the first 10 minutes. As that ball will go in. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like Mark Bright got there, but he skies it over the bar. So this will be a goal kick for the Red Bulls. As the Red Bulls really haven't gotten forward here in the first 8-ish minutes. Here's Marshall. As Cowell will try to play it forward, but that ball takes a deflection off of Sergio Regulon, so this will be a New York throw in here off the right-hand touchline. A little bit up past the midway line here. And certainly New York is looking to buck the trend of the leak goals in the back here. Would probably like to start early here, take the crowd out of it. And certainly it's capable. Miami, although Miami just has a turnover right there. Miami has been known to leak goals this season as well, too, as that ball will get played forward, as Mehmeti will take control of this, as New York will try to restart here, as Nealis will play one forward, as Cowell is going to try to chase this one down. Last touch by Sergio Regulon. And Regulon is not happy about it, but that being said, this will go out for a New York corner. As Cowell chased it down, and he's saying that he was fouled, except Regulon just literally hit the deck for no reason at all. Trying to draw a foul there, didn't get it. So this will be New York's first corner here. As it looks like Dos Santos will be taking this corner here for New York. As that ball will go in. Back post, trying to find Forsberg, and it'll just clear the entire box. So this will be a Miami goal kick here. As he was looking for Nealis, who was out of position. Forsberg that was being man-marked. Essentially at the back post there. So Miami will hold possession here. As New York is doing a good job of hounding Dane St. Clair, as that ball has to travel. Almost went out. Both of these teams are jockeying for possession here. As that's a good play by Bright. And Miami will hold possession. It's Messi now who finds Sergio Reguilon, who plays it up. Silvetti, as Reguilon will play it to his back foot. Silvetti couldn't hold it, as that ball will take a ricochet out, as New York tried to quickly play it, but there's Segovia. And Miami again will hold possession. As we're now in the 11th minute here in the first half. St. Clair will play this long, as Nealis does a very good job of heading that down. So here comes the Red Bulls through the center part of the park here, as they will try to reset, as Nealis will try to play one forward. That's a good pass, as Sergio Reguilon kind of hounded Cade Cowell right there, and Miami will take possession back again, as New York is finding it hard to string together two passes. As now they're going to try to work down the left-hand side. It's Silvetti, who drifts into the central area. That's a nice little play right there by Emil Forsberg. And again, Miami will take it right back, as it takes a deflection off of Mark Bright's boot. And that's a good pass forward, but again, New York does a good job of taking away the passing lane, as New York will try to counter. And there's a ball forward, as Ruvalcaba will catch it. A 1v1 against Falcone. That was just a bad pass, but Forsberg will stay with it. As looks like New York here is going to try to set up outside the 18. Off the left-hand side, it's Mehmeti. And he's got to play this one back. Oh, nice play right there by Marshall Rudy. And now they'll play it to the right-hand side. That ball was just a terrible ball. Cade Cowell was open off the right-hand side, but he played it over his head, and Cowell couldn't bring it down. So that one will go out. So New York squandered their first real opportunity. Terrible. As Miami will try to work it through the middle park. Here's Messi. Good ball forward. Deflected. And that'll go out. So Miami will have a throw in here. As they'll play this now all the way back to Michael. Here's Reguilon. Silvetti down the left-hand side. Good defense right there as Cade Cowell will come away, try to play it long. And now it's a race to the ball. It's going to be low. Nice. Here comes New York. Julian Hall plays it around. There's a shot. Ooh! Ooh, that's a goal for the Red Bulls. And I think that's Ruvalcaba right there. It is. Ruvalcaba puts the Red Bulls ahead 1-0 in the 14.5 minute. And the Red Bulls take the early lead here off a counter. Nice night. By the way, that was good heads-up play right there by Julian Hall. And there was nobody watching Ruvalcaba off the left-hand side as Falcone drifted over to double Julian Hall right there. And it just left Ruvalcaba just wide open. So the Red Bulls take the early lead. How about them Red Bulls? They clearly have wings tonight. So the play has restarted here as we are pushing the 16th minute. And yes, I know I'm a little bit behind. I'm 3.5 behind, but come halftime, we'll catch up to the actual time. As that's a nice little play right there. As Ethan Horvath comes out to clear it, so that one will go out. And it looks like Berterame was trying to find possession deep. Nice play right there from Ethan Horvath. So Miami will try to set up as Segovia tries to play one forward. It comes down. Now here's Emil Forsberg. As New York will hold possession here. As they're doing a good job of playing out of Miami's press here. And now they're going to try to play this to the right-hand side. And that's a good play right there by Sergio Reguilon. As Cade Cowell had the outside shoulder, but Reguilon was in good position right there as he played it back to Dane St. Clair. And now New York will take it away again. And they're going to say play on. Ooh, that was another bad no call right there. As Miami will hold possession now. There's a ball forward as it comes down. It's Berterame now. 1v1 against Nealis. And it's Messi. As he plays it a little bit centrally. Here's Reguilon. And that will go out. Last touch, I think, by Marshall Rudy. As Reguilon really couldn't do much right there. So this will be another Miami corner. This one will be from the left-hand side. As it'll be Reguilon taking this corner. And it goes. That's going to be headed out. Miami will hold it in. As DePaul now plays it across. Here's Rodrigo DePaul. Tries to play it in. That'll take a deflection off of Forsberg. And out it goes. So Miami will have the throw in. Here's Frey. And Frey was hounded by Forsberg. No call. Here come the Red Bulls now. On the counter. Oh, that's good defense right there. Very good defense by Miami. Here comes Segovia, and now Miami will have the counter. It's Silvetti on the left-hand side. Ball in. Oh, that was a bad decision right there by Nealis. Gave it right to Segovia. And Segovia puts one on. It'll take a deflection as Ethan Horvath was moving to the far post. At least there was a deflection. That easily could have been 1-1. As Silvetti did a pretty good job of playing one through. And Nealis tried to clear it and just gave it right to Segovia right there. As we are quickly approaching the 20th minute now here in the first half. As that ball will go in. And right there is Ethan Horvath to come out and collect that one. Nice job by Ethan. As the Red Bulls now, looks like they have some momentum here as they were able to take the early 1-0 lead. And this would be a huge get if New York can actually double it and put Miami under the 8 ball here. As this one now will move to the left-hand side. And that'll get out of play. So I think this is going to go to Miami. As New York really couldn't do much there. As Miami does a fairly good job of harassing the ball carrier here, but this is taken away. And again, just a bad pass from Cade Cowell. Is now Bright will try to move the counterattack. Here's DePaul. We'll play it off to the left-hand side. Finds Silvetti. And immediately that space is closed down by Marshall Ruddy, but he's able to find Segovia. Here's Messi. Messi cuts in. And Frey is going to have to go track this one down, but Miami still holds it off the right-hand side. And it's Rodrigo de Paul. And now Miami will try to move it around. It'll stay on the right-hand side with Falcone. As Falcone will play it down the right-hand side, it looks like it's going to be Frey. And now they'll try to switch sides. And here's Sergio Reguilon. And Segovia plays a 1-2 with Reguilon. Here's Reguilon now. Plays one in. Oh, too heavy of a touch right there as that one will go out. As Reguilon was looking for Silvetti right there. Couldn't corral it in. So New York will play it out. And this will reset with Falcone. Still in New York territory here on their side of the pitch. As Michael now will play it down. Reguilon will try to pop it forward. As New York will come away with the ball here. As Nevis will try to play it forward and does. Cade Cowell now will try to play it. Oh, that's good defense right there. By Bright. Takes it away. As both teams are trying to utilize their speed. As Frey now will get unlocked down the right-hand side. He's going to have to pull up. There's a ball in the box. It's Rodrigo de Paul. Ooh, and it's Ethan Horvath with the save right there. Good save right there by Ethan Horvath. As that was a nice little combination play down the right-hand side between Frey and Rodrigo de Paul. As de Paul actually had his man beat, was Veloter. And DePaul couldn't pick out a spot on the near post. Good positioning really by Ethan Horvath. As we are close to the 25th minute. As looks like they're replaying New York's goal here. That was just a bad decision from Falcone. But nonetheless, as we are approaching the 25th, New York does lead, and there's David. Is that David and Posh? Is that Posh? Gosh, she's gotten old. Looks like she might have even had some face surgery too. Can you believe I used to have a crush on Posh Spice? Good Lord. As New York tried on the counterattack, that was just a bad pass as Rodrigo de Paul comes away with it. And Messi will come away with it after a bounce there. Here's Silvetti, plays it across, and that'll get out. As it looks like that might have been intended for Segovia right there. Beck still looks the same, though, man. That's the thing, man. Beck's looks exactly like he did 20 years ago. Can't say the same for Posh. As New York will have possession, here's Marshall Rudy. As Miami is doing a good job. As Nealis now will dribble forward. And there's going to be a whistle. As it looks like Berterame right there was a little too heavy of a tackle right there. So play resumes with Mehmeti playing it across. That's a good ball forward. Oh, that's even better defense right there by Frey as he stepped in front of that one. I will say that Miami's defense, by and large, has been solid. Their positioning has been outstanding. New York really does want to play that through ball. They have actually clean runs. If any of those through balls, oh, that's taken away by Cowell. And Cowell loses control of it. So here comes Miami. If New York is able to play any one of those through balls, those clean runs are going to beat defenders. Credit to Miami for stepping in front and stepping inside of those passing lanes right there. As Michael now will play it over to over to Falcone here. One thing I will give credit to Falcone is his perm game is awesome. That dude is committed to the perm. You have to give respect to the guy. Not a lot of guys, even a lot of even a lot of Latin dudes, man, can't pull off the perm. He certainly can. I like it. Why not? As that ball gets played all the way back to Dane St. Clair. Here's Falcone. Seriously, man. I don't think I can rock a perm for that long. Not that I would even try, really. As St. Clair will play it forward. As Nealis is there. And New York will hold possession. Oh, that's a good turn. As Donker plays it in. As New York will try to slow it down. As now they're going to try to play it off to the right. As Nealis will find Marshall Ruddy. Here's Cowell. As they play this into a central area. Oh, as New York lost control of the ball right there, but they will hold it in, as they were looking for a give and go between Forsberg and it would look like it was Marshall Ruddy right there, but that ball will get out. I think last touch by Miami, so I think this will be a New York corner here. As we are approaching the 28th minute now here in the first half. New York does lead 1-0 off a goal by Ruvalcabra off a counterattack for New York. Miami does lead possession 60-40, which is not really all that surprising. As New York will play this one short. There's a ball in, and that one will sky it. But right there is Nealis, who tries to hold it in, and it's going to be cleared. As Mehmeti will play it down the left-hand side. Here's Cowell now. As he's being harassed by Regulon. And now that ball's taken away. As another good performance right there from Sergio Regulon. Forcing Cowell into a turnover right there. As it looks like Ruvalcabra right there. Last touch as that one goes out. Seriously, man. Perm and beard. I love it, man. Big Perm. That's his nickname, Big Perm. As Falcone will play it down the right-hand side. As Rodrigo de Paul does draw a whistle right there. Last year, I saw Rodrigo de Paul with Atletico Madrid in Seattle as New York just takes it away. As they were playing in the Club World Cup last summer at Lumen Field in Seattle against the Sounders. And on top of Alvarez, who was phenomenal, and of course, Conor Gallagher was still with Atletico, Rodrigo de Paul was everywhere. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, he pops up in Miami as a DP signing. Kind of took me a little bit by surprise. Not really all that surprising. It just didn't seem like that would be something at that stage that you would expect a guy like Rodrigo de Paul to make. But sure enough, man, the sway of Messi. And Major League Soccer's deep pockets brought him over. He certainly has been a pivotal piece the last year's MLS Cup. As we are now in the 31st minute. Let's see. What about the young Mexican forward for Inter Miami? He playing? Oh yeah, you're talking about Bert Rame from Monterrey. Yeah, he's on the field tonight. Hasn't really done much. Had an opportunity to score, I think, in the 6th minute as Messi put one through. He just couldn't get his foot on it. As Miami is holding possession here, as that ball will get skied up by Michael. And there's going to be a whistle as Rodrigo De Paul hits the deck. That dude, by the way, De Paul, is a wonderful flopper. That dude knows how to draw a penalty. Mehmeti didn't even make contact, and yet he gets the call. As Marshall Ruddy will play this one long. That's a good job right there by Michael as he heads that one out. 1v1 against Julian Hall right there. So this will be a throw-in. As we are in the 32nd minute now, as we are inching closer to halftime, as New York does lead 1-0 here, as they've actually done a very good job. The last time we saw New York was a couple weeks ago in a losing effort, and they looked all sorts of disjointed, discombobulated. Another adjective that starts with the suffix of DIS. They just did not play well on that night. Tonight, though, against Miami, they look confident. They really do. They're doing everything right. Now, granted, they still are having a problem stringing together 2 passes through the midfield. They are finding some success out on the wing. As Donker now will have to play this one back. But that being said, they did pick right on that long ball to get the goal. As that one gets headed back, as Sergio Reguilon has to play it back to Dane St. Clair. But that being said, defensively, they're doing everything right. And the difference this year between Miami, between this year and that, and last year, is the fact that they don't have Jordi Alba. And Jordi Alba was such a different maker. That's a good ball through. Here's Ruvalcabra. Cuts in, shoots. That takes a deflection. And on the rebound, that gets played out. Jordi Alba was such a dangerous piece for them. And regardless of how teams thought they were going to line up defensively, the idea of Tadeo Allende off the right with Messi and Luis Suarez, every single time there was a counterattack, for whatever reason, back lines just seemed to suck in. They just seemed to close in, and Jordi Alba always had that overlap off the left-hand side that always seemed to work. And regardless if the shot went in, there always seemed to be a rebound that always seemed to be collected at the far post. This season, now granted, this is only the second time that I've seen Inter Miami play. They just don't necessarily have what they had last year. They're trying to replicate it with Sergio Reguilon, except Reguilon just isn't Jordi Alba, not even by a long shot. He's clunky on the overlap. We've seen it a few times tonight. It's not necessarily smooth. That was pretty smooth as Messi plays one through. Oh, that's a good sliding tackle right there to break it up. Because Frey was loose. Messi, by the way, just dribbled through 3 defenders and put one forward. That was silky. Frey is the guy that gets forward. Here's Messi. As Michael now will play it off. Here's Silvetti on the left-hand side. Cuts in. Here's Ooh. Here's DePaul as that deflected out. Good ball in. Now it's going to get cleared. And it looks like Michael will hold this one. Here's Regulon. And now Miami's going to have to play this all the way back to Dane St. Clair. It's interesting, too. Their attacking patterns. It was obvious last year what they were going to do. And generally speaking, it really involved Sergio. It seemed like every single touch last year involved Sergio Busquets, Messi, and Jordi Alba. And then, of course, the finishing was Tadeo Lande and Luis Suarez. This year, they kind of have to spread things around a little bit, which is not a bad thing. They actually have absolute killers on the ball, but they don't have that one decisive style of play that they can just go to that works 100% of the time. As Segovia will knock this one out, so this will be a throw-in. And so far, I will say that New York has done a good job defensively. They've held up quite well as we are now approaching the 37th minute. As it feels like New York is on the doorstep of scoring their second. Although that can change in a heartbeat because Miami does a very good job of pressuring, as New York really hasn't been able to really control possession enough in Miami's half of the pitch, as that one will take a deflection off and out. So New York will have the throw in. Here's Volodar. As Mehmeti will play it forward. And that's a good little pass right here to the mid. Here's Nealis. And Nealis will play it down the right-hand side. Here's Gowell. As he passes it into Donker. That's a good through ball. But right there was Bright to break it up. And Dane St. Clair is going to have to sky this one. As Nealis will head this down. Right there, though, is Rodrigo de Paul. Playing it into Messi. That's a good pass right there. Segovia will have to play this one back. And now they'll make this to the left-hand side. Here's Sergio Regulon trying to play one in. And he completely skies the 18-yard box, but they're on the right-hand side. Oh, wow. Is that DePaul? Good chip shot over. And that's going to be headed out. Good defense right there by New York. That's Rodrigo DePaul is just everywhere. And that was a nice little chip up over. But right there was Hall to head this one out. So here's New York. Miami with the corner. And right there was Berterame, who heads one right into Ethan Horvath. But Miami will come down with possession. Here's Sergio Regulon. And now it'll be Silvetti off the left-hand side. Plays one in. That'll take a deflection out. So again, Miami will have a corner. As we are approaching the 40th minute now. As we are inching closer to halftime. As Miami will take a short corner. As Messi will play it back to DePaul. That ball goes in. It'll be headed out. Here's Messi. Messi now tries to play one on, and that one will go wide of the far post. And that was Messi's first shot on net. I'm surprised that Donker didn't try to close down the space on Messi to try to win that ball back. He just kind of let Messi just be able to bring that down. They're going to say that took a deflection. And Miami will have another corner here. And that's a good headed on, but there's Ethan Horvath. And it looked like it was Mike Yell again. I wonder how that was ruled a corner. That ball was not touched at all. As New York is being hounded here. As Donker's got space, there's a ball all the way forward off the right-hand side. Here's Cowell now, who stops. Why? Why, God damn it? And now Michael just takes this one away. Why not just play one in? God damn it, Cade. God, you're shit. Why slow it down? Just play one in. Come on, Cade Cowell. And that ball will go forward, and there's nobody there except for Ethan Horvath, who will come out. As we are getting dangerously close here to the end of the first half. New York leads by 1. As Nealis will play this all the way back to Horvath. As New York will reset. And Horvath will play this long. As Sergio Reguilon got the best right there of Cade Cowell. And now the ball will go up the left-hand side. Here's Reguilon again. And there's a whistle. As Bergerame hit the deck, but it's not going to be a foul here. Good Lord, man. I still did like they're replaying that shot by Messi. Yeah, it didn't touch anybody. They just fucking awarded him another corner. Play resets here. As Nealis will play this one forward. Here's Cowell. And there's going to be a whistle as Cowell will hit the deck here. Foul against Sergio Reguilon. As Bradley has to be happy with his first half here. And, outside of the possession numbers, New York really has done everything right to an extent. As Michael actually held Julian Hall right there, and there's going to be no whistle as Hall was trying to play the ball. Interesting. That should have been a free kick right there. As Miami now will hold possession. As that ball gets played back to Dane St. Clair, quickly moves it to Falcone. And that ball will go forward. As New York will come away with it. And that was just a bad idea right there by Veloter. Thank God Miami tried to play one forward, so New York will have possession right back. I got to say, it's been sloppy. It's been sloppy both ways. Some passes are good. Some passes are just sloppy AF. Again, there's another turnover. As New York will come away with it, trying to counter. It's Donker now down the right-hand side. There's just nobody there. As he finally relinquishes it to Marshall Rudy. And Mehmeti will finally play it out to the right. As Donker now will try to play it up the right-hand side. Here's Cade Cowell. And that's a good sliding tackle right there by Reguilon. That will get out for a New York throw. As we are now approaching the 45th minute, about 20 seconds. So we'll let you know exactly how much added time there will be. I would assume it's going to be a couple minutes. As that ball will throw in. As that ball will have to get played all the way back to Nealis. New York tries to reset as they push it down the left-hand side. And that's good defense by Frey, who comes away with it. Steps up to the challenge. Here's Messi now. As Messi will play it off the left-hand side to Silvetti. And it's Messi again. Oh, and that's taken away. That's a good challenge right there. And now it's taken away by Messi. Good ball forward. Bergerame tried to flick it back. No call. And so, and Segovia takes it away from Cowell. God, he's had a terrible game. God, Cowles just gets bullied off the ball. And now Miami will the switch to the right-hand side. There's a ball in. Oh, what a goal. What a goal. And it's Silvetti. What a goal. He was left alone at the back post. Oh, in the 46th minute. Oh, Miami equalizes right at the end of the half. And it was Rodrigo de Paul who played one in to the back post. And Silvetti was there essentially alone. As we see it again, it was Marshall Rudy who went in, as it was Messi right there. That was in a central area. So Marshall Rudy went to defend Messi, leaving Silvetti absolutely alone at the back post. Good goal by Miami. Oh, dagger. That's got to be heartbreaking for New York, as that is the end of the first half. Unreal. Unreal. Let's go ahead and check the halftime stats here. Oh, boy. That's not, by the way, man, do I know Jack Pockets? No, I don't know who that is. That's an unreal way to finish that first half right there. New York was doing everything right. Oh, boy. Oh, look at that. Natesky. Here we go. They're leading Lexington in the second half, 2-0. Let's go, Rhode Island. All right, so the halftime stats for this one. Miami does lead the possession battle, 56-44. The XG battle will go to Miami as well, too, 1.21 to 0.22. Total shots, 9-3 to Miami. Shots on target, 4-1 to Miami. Big chances, 3-1 to Miami. And, of course, Miami's missed 2 big chances. Accurate passes, 252 to 197 for Miami. Both teams have committed 4 fouls, and Miami leads the corner battle 8-2. In the XG department, XG on open play, 0.70 for Miami to 0.22. XG off a set play, Miami 0.52 to New York's 0.00. When you're looking inside the shots department, shots inside the box, 8-3 for Miami. Shots outside the box, 1-0. Really kind of lets you know that, for the most part, Miami is essentially dominated a little bit. But that being said, they had their opportunities and weren't able to make anything count until right at the end right there. Total passes, 293 Miami, 243 New York. Passes in the own half, 150 to 107 for Miami. Passes in the opposition half, 102.90 to Miami. Accurate long balls, 16-7 to Miami. Accurate crosses, 5-1. Throws, 10-9 goes to Miami, and touches in the opposition box. And this is kind of a big one, 24-7 to Miami. So it kind of lets you know exactly where what side of the pitch Miami's working in. Again, they're doing a very good job when it comes to closing down space. And there are certain points in that first half where both teams really couldn't string together 2 passes, but there was a nice little 15-20 minute block right there where New York just literally could not string together 2 passes. Defense in the tackle battle, New York does lead that one, 9-8. Interceptions, 9-5 to New York. Blocks, 2-1. Clearances, 10-6 to New York, and keeper saves, 3-0. In the duels, New York does lead the duel battle, 23-22. Ground duels, 19-17 to Miami. Aerial duels, 6-3 goes to New York, and successful dribbles, 7-4 to Miami. And those are your halftime stats currently. What I will say is that, regardless of the goal right there at the end of the first half for Miami, again, there was just a lot of good things that New York did in that first half. what I will say is getting that early goal gave them a nice little momentum shift. And for the most part, defensively, they were quite organized. Again, albeit that, that late goal by Silvetti there in the first half. What I will say is, that can't allow New York to come unglued because they're still in this one. And what I will say is that, the one thing you can't do at this stage is allow yourself to blink, because Miami does have the firepower to really put this game away. So from that standpoint, man, just keep doing, Michael Bradley has to tell his club to keep doing the things that they've been doing because they've been successful on the defense. And you know what, like they do have the skill to pop out on the counterattack and take the lead. So from that standpoint, just keep doing what you're doing. For Miami, are they going to turn that goal into some serious momentum? Because as of right now, Leo Messi has been quiet. He's been very quiet. Rodrigo de Paul has been a little bit more active. Berterami has been essentially, non-existent. And, it's really just Silvetti and, Sergio Reguilon off that left-hand side. You can tell that they want to get something going on that left-hand side. And up to this point, it's been non-existent outside of the goal. So we'll see. We'll see as we are getting close to start this second half, as it's 1-1. Let's go ahead and take a look around real quick. Major League Soccer. Let's see. So Philly won today 2-1. Toronto, Cincinnati 1-1. The Galaxy beat Austin 2-1, and Portland LAFC went final as Portland picks up the 3 points. And it looks like Christoph Velde and Kevin Kelsey scored for the Portland Timbers, as Jude Terry scored in the 49th minute for LAFC. And it looks like Portland grabs a massive 3 points on that one. Let's see. New England leads DC United at the half, currently 1-0, as Alassane Youssouf scored in the 35th minute. So nice. Good for the Rev, as the Rev badly needs the 3 points right there. Let's see. Vancouver leads NYCFC currently 1-0 at the half, as looks like Matias Laborda scored in the 45th minute. So that one still has another 45 to play. And I would probably assume that Vancouver probably wins that one. Let's see. Nashville leads Charlotte at the half 1-0. And it looks like, Edvard Tagseth scored in the 14th minute. So Nashville, the Eastern Conference League leaders right now, currently have that one at the half. Later today, San Jose will travel to Sporting Kansas City. That's probably going to be a San Jose win. FC Dallas will host St. Louis City. Chicago will host Atlanta United. Colorado hosts the Houston Dynamo. San Diego will host Minnesota. And tomorrow, Columbus will host Orlando City. What's going on next week? What's going on next week for the live stream? Let's see. The early leaders. What's it looking like? NYCFC versus Charlotte. That's kind of nice. Cincinnati versus Chicago. New England versus Columbus might be nice. I can always go back to Seattle. You never know. You just never know. As we're getting set for the start of the second half here in Miami. And man. I gotta say that for the mismatch that is this New York Red Bull team, they have I thought I will say that defensively they look pretty good, and it looks like they're not afraid to get forward. But that being said, what I would do. If I'm Michael Bradley, the problem is that they have really kind of targeted Sergio Reguilon on that right-hand side, and they are playing balls into Cade Cowell, but Sergio Reguilon not only has the speed to close the distance, so any type of balls over the top Sergio Reguilon has done a good job of either hanging with Cade Cowell or certainly closing down that distance. But that being said, either Cade Cowell gets bullied off the ball or he'll slow things down instead of just using that momentum to play a ball in. And he either gets ripped or he gets bullied off the ball. So maybe this might be an opportunity to make a switch at the half and take Cowell out of the game. Maybe somebody that might be a little bit better on the ball, because as of this first 45, I got to be honest with you, man, I was not impressed. That's probably the weakest link in their in New York's counterattack is Cade Cowell. That being said, it's like also not utilizing their striker. It almost feels like the reason why he's been non-existent is instead, this is the problem that I have. All right. It's not enough want or desire to play balls in. And especially when they're playing it down that right-hand side, that ball will generally either go back or they'll try to have like that little cut, that little inside run. But it's either trying to thread the needle to find Cade Cowell back, who's making an outside run, but they're not actually trying to target. They're not trying to play balls into their striker. That being said, there's also no outside run to the back posts, by Ruvalcaba either. And so from that standpoint, it's like, there's nothing really to pick out. But, I would like to see a little bit more of a concerted effort from New York to actually try to, get Julian Hall involved in this game. Same thing with Emil Forsberg. There doesn't seem to be, that sense of urgency from that Red Bull attack, especially on the, especially when it comes to counterattacking opportunities. Miami just can get forward with ease. And, I'd like to see Leo Messi take over, right? I think that's what everybody's looking for. So far, it's been Rodrigo de Paul. Cool. I like DePaul, but that being said, the bread and butter is Messi. And what I've seen is, Mehmeti, and it looks like even in some cases Donker as well too, that they'll try to man mark, Leo Messi to try to take him out of this attack. But that being said, it's like there's been multiple occasions in that first half where Leo Messi just plays right through, double teams to play balls forward, whether that be with Rodrigo Paul or Frey off that right-hand side. But we are getting ready now to start the second half. New York will go from right to left, and they will hold possession here in the second half. And it looks like we are underway. As New York now will hold possession, as Nealis now, and he quickly turns this ball over. Here's Berterame, as he pressured Nealis into a turnover, as Berterame will try to play one in. That's going to take a deflection. So very quickly, New York gives up a corner, as we are just a few seconds into the second half now. And it looks like Segovia will play this one short. Here's Rodrigo de Paul. De Paul will play one in. Ooh, and that nearly was a goal right there, as it found Falcone, as that one flies past the far post, as Miami nearly took a 2-1 lead right here. As the perm got his head on it, couldn't locate it. As Red Bull nearly gave up the go-ahead goal right here. Let's see, Maxi. So cool. Want to collab? Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem with that. Hit me up on a direct message, man. Let's talk. As New York will come away with this possession, as Forsberg will flip it forward, as Ruvalcaba tried to get around the perm right there, and now there's a whistle as Falcone will draw a foul. So this one will go back to Miami. That was a nice little flick on right there by Forsberg. Bad path right there by Ruvalcaba, who should have went on the inside shoulder. Instead, try to dribble around. And here comes Miami now. And here's Messi down the right-hand side. He's got space. As they're going to work this thing to the left-hand side. Here's Silvetti. And New York will come away with this one. As that ball is going to get played all the way up. And here's Julian Hall now. Against Falcone. Dribbled around Bright. And now they're going to have to play this one back. So they're going to reset here. As it's Mehmeti, who will play it down to Dos Santos. As Rubalcaba nearly had it taken away. Here's Forsberg. And that's taken away by Miami. Here comes Rodrigo De Paul. De Paul plays it forward. Here's Messi. Oh, and Messi missed it. Oh, he tried to curl it in to the near post. He should have went far. Oh, that was a goal. Oh. As Miami created a nice little high turnover as Rodrigo De Paul picked out an open Messi who cut in and tried to play that one into the near post and just pushes it to the right. Oh, heartbreaker. As New York now will try to play it out of the back as Miami is doing their thing to press. Nearly turned over. As that ball will get chipped to the right. And here comes Marshall Rudy now. Plays it forward. Here's Cade Cowell. 1v1 trying to get around the corner. As Frey does a good job right there. And that'll get out. Actually, it was Mike Yale. So this will be a New York corner. As Dos Santos will be responsible for this corner. As of right now, if you're trying to lay some money down, Miami has a 55.3% chance of winning this one, a negative 160. So if you are inclined, you can go to any of your, even any of your favorite sports books. As looks like Frey is going to get a little bit of a talking to here. Same with Silvetti. Dude, these refs are garbage. Garbage, I tell you. As we are almost set for this corner here. As Silvetti's trying to mark Forsberg here. As he'll come off. Back post, and right there is Dane St. Clair. As that was looking like it was headed to the back post. St. Clair does a good job. And here's Rodrigo De Paul. And look at that, man. RAFC is tearing it up. For all you USL championship nerds out there, me being one, as Rhode Island is beating up on Lexington. As it looks like Frey will play this back to St. Clair, who pushes it out to the left. That's good coverage right there by Cowell, as that one will skip out. So Miami will have the throw in here. And that's taken away by New York. As Nealis now will play it down to the left-hand side. Here's Rubalcaba. And he has to play this one back. As Voladair. And he's got nowhere to go. He's got to play this one back to Horvath. And so New York just wasted an opportunity now. That's the thing. It's like you're 1v1 on the left-hand side. Take on your man. Don't pass it back. As Miami now will take this one away. Shame. That's how players are developed now. There's no guts. That's a shot that's going to miss the near post, and it looked like that was Silvetti, who took on, looks like he was taking on Marshall Rudy right there. And that was a good long ball right there by Dane St. Clair. And that's the thing. Take a chance, be brave. Here's DePaul now, as Miami is going to try to play this one in. Good defense right there by Nealis. As Horvath now has to play this one long. Nice play by Falcone, who comes in and heads it. And it's now Rodrigo DePaul, as Miami will hold possession deep again. As Messi takes a deflection off a referee, so play will stop, and it looks like Miami will have the free kick here. As play resumes. As it's Falcone and New York doing a really good job of trying to close it down. Good turn right there by Michael. And now he tries to play it. And that's a good save right there. And it looks like, looks like there was a switch at the half, as Daniel Pinter has checked into this one. And it looks like he's playing up the right-hand side here. As New York now will have possession as they're trying to play it down the left-hand side. There's a turnover right there, and it was Pinter who won that ball back. Here's Messi. There's a shot. Oh, and it's Berterame who scored right here for New York, for Miami. And Inter takes a 2-1 lead as that ball, as Messi was dribbling into the box. There was a challenge to take the ball away, and it found the foot of Berterame right there. And Miami takes a 2-1 lead now. As I got to see this one again. That was wicked. As New York concedes here in the 50, almost 55th minute now. As this one was taken away right here by Pinter. And DePaul will play it forward to Messi. And Messi dribbles forward. And now, it was Mehmeti that poked it from behind. And that ball just went straight into the path of Berterame, who just puts it on goal past Ethan Horvath. And it's now 2-1 Miami, so there you go. And if New York is not careful, the floodgates will open here, as that's an errant pass that Miami will just take away. And it looks like New York just might be coming unglued here, as it looks like they're just rushing. Miami is applying pressure, and they're trying to rush through it. As here's Messi now. Plays the ball forward. Good defense right there. But Messi stays with it. Lays it off. Silvetti tries to play it right back to Messi. That ball takes a deflection, as Silvetti will hold it in here off the left-hand side. As here's Bright. And he'll play this down the right-hand side. There's just nobody there. So New York will have the throw-in. As Bright was under pressure, trying to find Frey. As that ball has to get played back to Horvath. Total shots right now. Miami has 14. New York has 3. As that one will get played out of bounds. As Rubalcaba going 1v1 against Frey. As Frey does it again. Although there's going to be a whistle this time. As Frey drops Rubalcaba, so there's going to be a free kick for New York here. The intensity in which Miami has picked up on the defensive side of the ball is absolutely night and day to that first half. Obviously, there's a turnover right there as Pinter does a good job. Here's Rodrigo De Paul dribbling through 2. And that layoff pass allows Dos Santos to play a ball forward. But again, another errant pass as this time Bright will clear this one away as that ball gets played back to Dane St. Clair. And that one will go out. So this will be a New York throw-in down the left-hand side. This is now Miami's 63rd multiple goal game since 2023. That's insanity. As Berterame pressures Nealis to play it back to Ethan Horvath, but that ball forward comes right back down to Miami again. Here's Pintor. Plays it into Messi, who tried to chip it forward to Berterame, but there, right there, is Ethan Horvath to shut it down. As New York needs to get forward, but they got to be smart about this, as they are absolutely rushing every single pass. And that one's taken away. And down goes Silvetti. And they're going to say that Cade Cowell is the guilty party, and Cowell's going to draw a yellow here. As Marshall Rudy played it forward, Cowell had just made too heavy of a touch between 2 defenders and got his leg out way too late as Silvetti hits the deck. So Cowell will take the yellow here as we are now pushing the 60th minute. Miami does lead 2-1 now, as it feels like all momentum has shifted all the way over to Miami's side. And they are knocking on the door for 3. As some weirdo in a pink hat, a pink cowboy hat, and a pink jacket is going crazy. That was odd. As that one will get out. So New York will have a throw-in off the left-hand side. Here's Donker. Plays it forward. Taken away by DePaul. And it looks like there's going to be a whistle here. As everything that New York did right in the first half, they're not doing well at all here in the second half. As the perm dribbles through Cade Cowell here. As Frey will play it forward. As Silvetti now finds Rodrigo De Paul in space. Here's Messi off the right-hand side. Messi dribbles in, tries to lay it forward. And New York will come away with it. As Dos Santos now does find Donker. That's a good little ball forward. And he comes away with it. Good challenge right there by Miami. Cowell slips it in. There's a ball right there. Ooh, and it's a goal. As New York finds the equalizer. Ooh. Cade Cowell did something right. As Donker slid one past, finds Cowell down the right-hand side, and he plays one forward. And it takes a deflection off of St. Clair, but there was Veloter to finish it. As we see this again, and it looks like Bright tried to bully Donker off the ball, but Donker stays with it. Slides it into Cowell, who plays one across. St. Clair came out to put a hand on it, but right there was Veloter to clear it, to clean it up. And it's 2-2. And now they're going to look at this one. Oh, this one's coming up. This one's coming back. Yeah, he was offside. God damn it. Yeah, this one's coming off. Who assisted in that second goal? For Miami, it was deflected forward to Berterame from off of the New York defender. This one's coming back. Yeah, he's offside. Fucking Cade Cowell. You bum. Is that a dude dressed in a Pink Ranger outfit? That was horrible. So instead of the equalizer, Miami will still hold a 2-1 as it was ruled that Cowell was offside. Does anyone know the jersey in the back? What are you talking about, man? What jersey? As St. Clair will play this one forward. So Miami gets a break right there as VAR chalks off the equalizer. As Frey has essentially eaten Cade Cowell for lunch all night long. Surprised he didn't get that one, his back pocket pick there against the touchline right there. As Nealis now play one forward. As Marshall has to play this one all the way back to Ethan Horvath, so New York will try to reset here. That's gotta be heartbreaking for New York. Oh, that one's taken away. Here's Messi. As Messi will play it to DePaul, and that one will take a deflection, so off of Mehmeti. So this will be a Miami corner. That's got to be depressing if you're New York, working tirelessly to get the equalizer, only to get that one chalked off. But here comes New York now making some switches, as it looks like Cowell's coming off, and it looks like Mosquera and Sofo are coming on. So it looks like Ruvalcabra comes off for Sofo, and Mosquera will come on for Cade Cowell. So we'll see exactly how that changes the complexion here for New York's attack. So Rodrigo DePaul will take this corner here, as that one will go in, as that does find its way past the 18-yard box, but that'll be held in by Miami. Here's Silvetti off the left-hand touchline, plays it in, taken away, and Forsberg gets that taken away by Messi. Oh, as Messi put one on, and it flies past and through the 6-yard box, nearly headed in, as Messi just takes away from Forsberg, who puts one in. And it looks like Ethan Horvath may have gotten a hand on it, but that looks like it was Bright who nearly put in Miami's third. As it looks like Dane St. Clair will clear it, as Forsberg will head it back, and Donker will hold possession for New York. Here's a ball forward. Here's Mosquera. There's a ball through. That's going to be cleared by Michael, as that one will get out. So New York on the front foot here, as we are in the 66th, 67th minute now, as New York is hunting for the equalizer. That's a nice little flick right there by Forsberg, as they do find Sofo on the left-hand side. Sofo cuts in, and that's just a little too heavy of a touch, as Rodrigo DePaul will find the dirt right there. And they're going to say this one's against Sofo, but that was a nice little switch. And Sofo, as soon as that ball comes down, he's got to put one on. He's got to be quick about it. So, and now all of a sudden, Miami will make the switch. So it looks like Silvetti's coming out now, as it looks like Lujan is coming on for Miami. Silvetti's had a nice game tonight, as he scored Miami's first goal right there at the end of the first half, as play resumes. As St. Clair is telling everybody to play forward, as he will go long here down the right-hand side, as that'll get headed forward and out of bounds, and that will be a New York throw-in. As Pinter's look good too, as that one will come down to Miami. I'm actually quite happy with Miami's depth. They got some killers coming off that bench. Sofo is going to try to go 1v1 against Lujan right there, as St. Clair now will play it up to Frey, as that's taken away by Forsberg. Here's Donker off the half turn, as he's being hounded by Bright. Here's Mehmeti. Nice little move around. DePaul plays it off the left-hand side. Here's Sofo, 1v1. Oh, he nearly shook the checks off of Frey's Nikes right there. Oh, but that gets tipped away, and so New York is going to have to try this one again, as Mehmeti is now going to play this down the left-hand side. There's just nobody there except for Lujan, who's going to play this one out. Actually, it was Frey. I think Frey might be dealing with a little bit of an injury here. And it looks like Apple is pimping for FIFA. Book today for your hospitality packages. Hey, by the way, do you guys have 10 grand? You can get a hospitality package. Just saying. Just saying. You guys got 10 grand laying around? By the way, when Stu Holden did that on X, man, that was shambolic. A media member pimping for FIFA. A little 10 grand hospitality package. Come on, man. Play is resumed here, as that one gets headed forward, as Bergerame. Oh, nice little play right there by New York, as Falcone steps in, and New York will just take possession right back. But nice little hustle play right there by New York. Here's Messi now, as Sofo tries to close him down. Good ball forward. Here's DePaul. Tries to play it forward for Pinter. That's going to take a deflection out, so Miami will have to throw in. Nice little heads-up play right there by Rodrigo DePaul. Play it off, slow it down, play it off the defender, keep possession. Nice little heads-up play. Here's the perm, who's going to play it forward, as Segovia nearly lost it. Bright does find Pinter on the opposite side of the pitch. And now it's DePaul. As this thing will go down to Frey, who's got to play it back. As we are now in the 71st minute, as Miami still leads. by 1, 2-1. As that ball will go forward as New York does a good job. They're trying to win this one back. And another errant pass looking for Forsberg. But right there was Miami. And DePaul tried to play it forward. Just a little too forward right there. So New York will have possession. And now they immediately lose it. And it's DePaul. There's the switch. And it looks like that'll get out of bounds. As it looks like Silva. Michael couldn't handle that one right there. So, yeah, there's going to be a whistle there. As Mosquera gets taken down there by Falcone. The perm. So New York will have the free kick here. There's a good ball to the other side. Here's Sofo trying to play it across, and there's nobody there. As Mosquera was attacking the far post. As that was a good-looking opportunity right there for New York. Off a quick counter. Forsberg played to Sofo off the left, who just darts it across the 6-yard box, but Mosquera was late. A good opportunity right there for New York. Now here comes Miami. As Segovia plays it across to Messi. And Sofo is right there off his back. And now Messi dribbles between three defenders. That's a good D. That's good D right there for New York. And just as quick as New York was trying to counter, Miami just disrupts it. And now there's a whistle. And it looks like Frey is down. As New York still has a 11-shot differential on New York, as it's 14-3. Total passes 468 to 370 for Miami, and of course they lead the possession by 10, 55 to 45%. As play resumes, as Falcone will play it off to Frey. And now it's DePaul, who tries to chip one forward. And now it's Mehmeti driving forward. Here's Sofo. Oh, yeah. And there's going to be that's going to be a yellow card right there against Frey as Dos Santos gets taken down. So this will be a free kick here for New York in a dangerous area down the left-hand side. As, Frey just leaned his shoulder in and wipes out Dos Santos for making that forward run. 100% that was a yellow card. So this will be a free kick here as Forsberg sits in front of it. As we are in the 75th minute now, as New York is searching for an equalizer. They had one chalked off because of an offside. As we are almost set for this one. As we are ready to go. Here's Forsberg in the box, plays it short. Hall tries to, they do find it. They do find it as Julian Hall played one across the box. Oh, and it was Mehmeti who scored the equalizer. And New York finds it. Oh. What a goal for the Red Bulls. as Julian Hall made a great half turn off Rodrigo DePaul, and it was Mehmeti who was in between two defenders, who gets his foot on it. And it looks like he was in between Bray and Bright. And New York has equalized here in the 77th minute. How about that, man? How about that? Credit New York as they continue to fight for this one. As St. Clair now will play this one deep down the left-hand side. There's a ball forward, and it'll spring Berterame now. And that's a good sliding tackle right there by Volader. And that one will get out as Volader tracked back. Made a great sliding tackle right there. So this will be a corner now for Miami in the 78th minute. And here comes Chomper now, as Frey will come off, as Luis Suarez now will check in. So Miami brings on another striker. And I'm sure you guys know why I call him Chomper. Back in his Liverpool days. As Segovia now will play one short. That'll be headed out. As Pinter will hold it. And Miami will hold possession now. As that one gets played back to Lujan. As Sofo is trying to run him down. Here's Suarez. And it's Segovia. As here's DePaul. And DePaul just dribbles between 2-3 defenders. And yeah, there's going to be a yellow card now. And that was a weak yellow card. So this will be a free kick as we see it again. And it wasn't even Donker that made the tackle. Here comes the Miami. Here comes the refs in. Here comes the refs in to save Miami. And it was actually, what's funny, it was Mosquera. And now they're now they're actually assigning the right yellow card. That's funny. As Messi will play one in. It finds Suarez, but Suarez puts it right at the feet of Ethan Horvath. So that actually could have been right there. That actually could have been the winner. As Suarez just didn't get a good touch on it. And looks like there's going to be a whistle against Lujan right there as Sofo hits the deck. As we're now in the 80th minute, 10 minutes remain. Can New York find a winner? Here's Hall. Plays it forward to Sofo, who's got to play it back to Dos Santos. God, I hate the backwards pass. By the way, the all-time record between these two teams are 6-6-6. Interesting. As there's going to be a whistle right there as Suarez hits the deck. So Miami will have a free kick here. As New York has done a very good job in these last 20 minutes getting themselves back into this one. Picking and choosing their opportunities to get forward. They've had a couple chances. But that was a stellar free kick as that one will go forward as Voloder will play this one out. So this will be a Miami throw-in here. As here's DePaul. As Miami did Miami was able to carry that momentum from that Silvetti goal at the end of the first half as Veloter will play this one out again, playing the over from Berterame right there. And they were able to take the lead in the early portion of the second half. But as the second half has played on, New York kind of built their way back into it. Had the opportunity to equalize. That was taken off because of an offside. But they continued to fight as Messi tried to play one forward. That will find Ethan Horvath. So you gotta give New York credit here. They easily could have shrunk, as Dos Santos will try to play one forward. Coming over is the perm, as Lujan tried to chip one forward, but it was Sophie who's done a really good job here, as he takes this one away from DePaul. Here's Donker. Plays it forward. That's a good ball forward now. Oh, that was a nice little touch. Just didn't have enough for Forsberg, but New York will hold it in. As Mascara will play it back. Here's Mehmeti being hounded by Segovia. Off the half turn, plays it forward. Here's Donker trying to play one forward. New York will hold it. Here's Forsberg. Plays it off the left. Here's Sophie. God damn it, you got to shoot. Oh, what are you doing, bud? Sofo, what are you doing? As soon as you get that ball, you got to let it go. But he held it and then tried to chip it as Falcone came into place, and then he tried to chip it to the far post, and he just plays it so far right. As it looks like both Segovia and Donker are down, as it looks like Segovia is just wasting time. Oh, I got a cramp. Good Lord, man. Donker actually looks hurt here. As they're actually looking at his knee here. As they look at this goal again. That was such a beautiful turn right there by Hall to put one through. And Mehmeti was right there just to clean it up and put it in. As the physios are on the pitch right here to look at Donker here. As we're now in the 85th minute. And it looks like he's up, And it looks like New York is about to make a double switch here, as it looks like Choupo-Moting is going to come in. As it looks like New York is looking for the win here. Yeah, looks like Donker is up now. Looks like he's good. So it looks like New York is going to make a double switch here. As Miami will have possession. It looks like, Choupo-Moting, and it looks like maybe Bregan is coming in. Here comes New York. As that'll take a deflection, but it'll be Sofo now. And Sofo will try to play one in, but it's going to take a deflection. Like off of Lujan here. So this will be a throw-in for New York. We are in the 86 and a half minutes, so looks like Mehmeti's coming off for Bregan. And it looks like Forsberg's coming off for Choupo-Moting. So it looks like New York is putting on an extra attacker here. Looks like the Red Bulls are going for the win. As that ball will come in, it'll find Moding. And that'll go out. As Dos Santos couldn't hold it. So this will be a Miami throw-in now. Off the right side touchline. And this will be Lujan who will take the throw here. That was nearly taken away. That actually went off of Suarez right there. But they're going to give the ball to Miami. Here's Messi. And Segovia now will play it forward now. As we are now in the 88th minute. A couple minutes left before stoppage time. As St. Clair will play it forward. As Miami really haven't been able to push forward here. New York has done a very good job defensively of shutting that down. As Horvath will play it forward. It's really been like the last 15, 20 minutes has all been New York. Here's Sofo now. He's got the overlap. And he just waited a little too long on the overlap. So here comes Miami now. Here's Pintar. And that was nearly taken away by Sofo. And Sofo pressures Lujan as that ball gets played out. Miami will hold it. And that ball forward, looking for Messi, will be taken away by New York as they played it back to, oh, here we go. As they, oh, as the ball goes in off a turnover, and they're going to say that's offside. As Berterame put it in off the turnover, but they're going to say this one's offside. As Miami nearly won it right there. As that was an errant pass forward. And yeah, Messi was offside. As he chipped one forward to Suarez, who plays one. It was initially a good save right there by Ethan Horvath. As that ball kicked forward, eventually was put in by Berterame, but this one was offside. As this will be a New York goal kick, but we have 6 minutes left to play. You're in stoppage time. As Miami nearly scored right there. As initially that play was a over-the-top ball that went to Ethan Horvath. And in that exchange, New York turned it over and nearly gave away the game to Miami. As this ball will find Choupo-Moting. As Hall now will have to play this one back. Here's Dos Santos trying to play it forward. Takes a deflection as Dos Santos will lose control. So here comes Miami now. And there's going to be a whistle as Pintor hits the deck. As New York cannot be phased here. As that's a good half turn by Messi, who's going to push forward. And that ball is going to be taken away as Dos Santos now has to clear it. As Miami looks like they're trying to speed up the tempo here to try to catch New York out. As Messi is not happy. As he thinks there should have been a foul there. As Michael Bradley is trying to keep his Red Bulls calm here. As that long ball from Ethan Horvath did find Choupo-Moting, who held it up actually quite well. As that ball will take a ricochet. Here's Here comes Miami now, as it does find Messi, as this ball gets pushed to the left-hand side in the box now. And they're going to say Donker as Messi hits the deck, so they're going to give him a free kick here. New York did a good job of closing down space here. And Messi sold it. Oh, dear. As Sofo's not happy here. As we see it again. Oh, that was clean. Yeah, it looks like Bregan may have gotten him late. But we're now pushing the 93rd minute, as Miami does have four goals off of set pieces this season, which is tied for second most in Major League Soccer. So we will see exactly how this one plays out in just a second, as this is right outside the 18-yard box, as Messi will be on this one. And here we go. Here's Messi. Plays one through. Oh, nice save right there by Ethan Horvath. As Messi went far post. That was a good save right there by Horvath. But that gets out, so this will be a Miami corner here. As we are in the 94th now. 2 minutes left to play. As this corner will go to the far side of the box, and now New York clears it. As Miami will hold this in. They'll try to switch it now to the right-hand side. That was nice play right there by Donker to head it out. So this will be a Miami throw. A minute and a half left to play. As Sofo tried to break that one up, and he did a pretty good job. But playing deep was Lujan, who now will play this one forward, as this will get out. And it'll be a New York throw-in. As we are pushing the 95th minute now. 1 minute left to play. Nice save right there by Horvath. As New York will throw this one up. And Sofo now will sky this one as this comes down and out of play. So this, I think this should be a New York throw in here. Yeah, it will be. Last touch by Miami. As we have about 30 seconds left to play in this one. As Dos Santos now will take the throw in. As he finds Chupo. As they're gonna say do it again. Here's Hall. And that one will get out. Last touch by Pinter. As we have about 10 seconds left. As this match will end. As that gets cleared. And they're going to say this will be what? And yeah, that's the final whistle. So New York does a good job in the second half to find the equalizer. Credit New York. They did a very good job on this one. And it looked like Miami was about to ride that momentum and potentially put this one away. But credit New York, man. They did a very good job after Miami scored that second goal to kind of settle things down and play their way back into it. And again, they had that equalizer that gets that gets chalked off. And they easily could have collapsed, man. They easily could have collapsed after that one. But all credit, man. They played their way back into it, and I would actually go so far as to say that, essentially from that 65th minute to the that 80th minute right there, New York was pushing forward and pushing the envelope, man. They did a very good job eventually finding that equalizer off a set piece. And from that standpoint, man, they definitely earned that point down in Miami. Let's see. Let's go to let's see. Yeah. So Roblox Gamer Boy, their second goal was off a deflection from New York that allowed Bergerame to score. Inter Miami's defense is a mess. They were okay. Rich Rod says disgusting. Yeah. Natesky says RIFC with the win tonight, 3-0. That's nice, man. Beating up on Lexington. Let's see. Miami holding on right now, 100%. We have let's see, Thomas Dance, go Red Bulls. Greg says, "What's up, man? How you doing, Greg?" Thoughts on my boy Julian Hall? All of a sudden, Julian Hall is my boy. Listen, for the most part, he was non-existent. But that being said, when New York needed somebody to step up, man, that half turn and driving forward and picking out Mehmeti right there for that second goal, man, that was nice. That was really nice, man. That's what killers do, man. I'll tell you what, man. He just might have the killer instinct after all, man. That was a very nice play by Julian Hall. I actually like him. I actually think I think his top level is something special, right? So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how that kid develops, man. Because what's interesting about it is, over the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking about the 2030 cycle and what that's going to look like for the U.S. men's national team. And certainly Julian Hall is going to be a part of that conversation. Same thing with Gozo of Real Salt Lake, Kevin Sullivan potentially. But that being said, it's you can envision a scenario where Julian Hall is going to be a part of it. And that's the thing. It's when you're kind of looking at the striker pool moving forward and who's going to be a part of that, that next conversation, when you're kind of looking at some of the players now, in 4 years, it's okay, cool. Flo is going to be pushing 30. Surely, Ricardo Pepi is 24. So 23, 24, he might be around. You're looking at, Josh is going to be 29, 30, and so from that standpoint, it's, the U.S. are going to need that next crop of players coming through. And a guy like Julian Hall, who is 18 right now. Yeah. So you're talking a kid who's going to be 22, potentially 23 come 2030. He's going to be on the cusp of coming into his prime. And so from that standpoint, he's definitely going to be a part of the conversation. Same thing with Gozo and some of these other kids, man. What I will say is as far as the skill position, the U.S. are in a position where they're going to start to look awfully good come 2030 in certain positions. So yeah, I think he's got a bright future. And what I like about the fact that he's playing for the New York Red Bulls is, the Red Bulls have a very good history of moving players on to Europe. And you're talking about a kid, who within the next 2 seasons, if he develops into a 10, 15 goal scorer, he's certainly going to make that move overseas. And that's what's exciting about it. There's certain teams in the league that have a good reputation of moving players forward, and the Red Bulls are certainly one of those guys. Let's see. Rich Rod says Horvath is the best goalkeeper in the league. I don't know about that. Certainly, I was happy that he came back, because that last go round when he was at Sheffield Wednesday wasn't exactly wasn't exactly the greatest situation for him, right? Like Sheffield Wednesday is, a team that is going down. For those that don't know, they went into administration because their ownership literally sunk them financially, and so they were on I think they had like a 12 point points reduction that put them at the bottom of the championship, and they couldn't make any. They were also on a transfer embargo, so they couldn't bring any players in. The only thing they could do was bring in frees, and they had to get those free transfers approved by the championship. Ethan Horvath was available. They brought him in, and because they didn't really have a squad. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday may have had like 18 players on the first team, and so from that standpoint, they were terrible. And Ethan Horvath had a couple decent outings, but for the most part, it's like when you're a goalkeeper and your defense in front of you is absolutely dreadful, you're going to leak a shit ton of goals. And eventually they let him go, and he was available, so New York brought him over, and it is what it is. So he's back in Major League Soccer. And from that standpoint, I'm actually kind of happy because it makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm happy he's back, but you're also talking, in a league that has some very good goalkeepers. Let's see. As we look at it right now, I would probably say that from the as of right now, like you're looking at, if you're going from like clean sheets, you would probably have to think that Andrew Thomas in Seattle, he's got 5 clean sheets on the season. Hugo Lloris is 6. You're kind of looking at New York, and he's not. Is he even on this one? Yeah, he's not even lit. Like from that standpoint, he's not really listed. But let's go ahead from the goals against. Yeah, like Ethan Horvath, he's given up 15 goals. What, seven starts, 630 minutes. He only has 1 clean sheet on the season, given up 15 goals. I think he's got 25 saves. Yeah, granted he does have a pretty solid accurate passing percentage, 82%. That's not bad. He's got an okay long ball, not really all that great. Clearances 1. Like Ethan really isn't necessarily all that great, man. Let's see. We have Bella W2X, Messi, and I wish, sir, I understood Spanish. I really wish I did. All right, let's take a look at the final stats in this one before we call it a good one. At the end of the game, Miami did win the possession battle, 55-45. XG, Miami 2.14 to New York's 0.75. Total shots 16-5. Miami shots on target 7-2. Big chances 6-2. Miami missed 5 of those 6 big chances. Accurate passes 434-343. Fouls committed, New York 14, Miami 8, and corners 12-3. That's absurd. XG from open play 1.19 to 0.39. XG on set plays 0.96 to 0.35. Shots inside the box 14-5 for Miami. Shots outside the box 2-0. That went to Miami. Total passes 514-423 went to Miami. Passes in the own half 246-182. Passes in the opposition half 188 to 161. Accurate long balls 31 to 18 for Miami. Accurate crosses 7-2 goes to Miami. Throws 22-18 to New York. Touches in the opposition box 36-15 to Miami. And offsides, Miami was offside 3 to New York's 1. Yellow cards, New York had 2 to Miami's 1. On the defensive side of the ball, the tackle battle went to Miami as well, too, 17 to 12. Although New York ended up with 17 interceptions to Miami's 9, that was actually kind of nice. It lets you know that, especially in that second half, they did a very good job defensively. Blocks 2-1 to New York, clearances 17-15 to New York, keeper saves 5-0 to New York as well, too. Ethan Horvath really did have himself a pretty solid second half, especially late in that second half with a very good save, a key save against Messi right there to hold that to a 2-2 draw. The dual battles, that went to Miami 58 to 35. That's crazy. Ground duels, 50 to 25 to Miami. Aerial duels, 10-8 to New York, and successful dribbles, 19 to 5, which went to Miami. Let's see real quick. Before we get out of here real quick, let's take a look real quick around Major League Soccer. As we all right, so as I alluded to earlier, Cincinnati and Toronto did play to a 1-1 draw. Kevin Denke took a red card in the 71st minute. Toronto's goal came off an own goal from Gilberto Flores in the 83rd minute, but in the 90+2, Kenji Dem scored for Cincinnati to level that one, as Toronto could only muster a point. Looks like they were at home on that one. That's a shame. Philadelphia beat Montreal 2-1 as Japhet Siri scored in the 55th minute, and Jesus Bueno scored in the 70th minute for Philadelphia, as Yvonne Jaime scored in the 23rd minute for Montreal, as Philadelphia gets their first win. Congratulations to the Union. The Galaxy ended up winning today 2-1 over Austin, as Maya Yoshida scored in the 34th minute and Eric Tomey scored in the 78th minute for LA, as Murdo Uzuni scored in the 85th minute for Austin, but it was not enough as the Galaxy pulled the 3 points out of that one. Let's see. Portland beat LAFC 2-1. New England ends up being DC United 1-0. Vancouver beat New York City FC across the border, as Matias Laporta scored in the 45th minute. And everybody's boy, Brian White, scored in the 86th minute, as New York City NYCFC could not even muster a goal in that one. That's a shame, too, because I actually kind of like NYCFC. Nashville beat Charlotte 2-1 today, as Tagsess scored in the 14th minute and Patrick Yazbek in the 62nd minute. And Archie Goodwin scored a penalty in the 90th minute for Charlotte. Obviously was not enough. What else? All right. Right now, in the 46th minute, San Jose and Sporting Kansas City are knotted at 1, as Jack Scahan scored in the 44th minute for San Jose. Jacob Bartlett in the 27th minute for Sporting KC. So that one is in the second half right now. Let's see. FC Dallas and St. Louis City is 0-0 at the half. Chicago leads Atlanta United currently 1-0, as Marin Haile Selassie scored in the 13th minute for Chicago. And that one is in the 52nd minute. And Colorado leads the Dynamo right now 1-0, as Kosi Thompson scored in the 5th minute for the Rapids. And that is what's currently going on. And a little bit later today, San Diego will host Minnesota, and tomorrow Columbus gets Orlando City. Just a quick look at the table. As Nashville did win, so they extended their points to 16. Chicago currently leading, and if things hold off, they will move to 13 point with the draw tonight. Miami is now at 12. NYCFC, Charlotte, Toronto, and the New York Red Bulls all are on 11 points, trailed only by New England with 9 points, and DC United and FC Cincinnati hold that 9th place on 7 points. In the Western Conference, Vancouver leads that one on 18 points. LAFC and San Jose both have 16 points. Real Salt Lake and the Sounders are on 13 points. Colorado and FC Dallas are on 12 points. San Diego is on 11th, and tied right now in the 9th place spot on 8 points are the LA Galaxy and everybody's favorite Minnesota United. So that's going to do it for me, guys. It's been fun. And to be honest with you, man, I enjoyed this one. And I was very happy with the New York Red Bulls. They showed a lot of fight, and they easily could have crumpled tonight. But, that's exactly, the type of team that I like. That is, going to stick in there and not, Miami easily could have ran away with that one too, because they had the momentum. When Silvetti scored right there at the end of the first half, it was, we had seen this time and time again where they're, Miami uses that momentum, especially at home, to steamroll opponents. And sure enough, right there in the second half, they score quickly again. They take a 2-1 lead, and it looks like, they're going to do exactly what Miami does. But credit to New York, they didn't come unglued, and they just chipped away, and eventually they were able to get that equalizer and hold on. So from that standpoint, man, you have to be thrilled. But it is what it is. I enjoyed it, and what I liked seeing was the heart and hustle, especially from New York's two young kids right there to find that equalizer. So to me, that was actually very exciting to see. So we'll be back next week for the MLS live stream. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming stateside footy content. Tomorrow we have the EPL live stream as Spurs will face Sunderland. And on Monday, we have Jeff Lagesson from Prost International as we debate the U.S. men's national team World Cup roster. It should be fun. So I hope to see you guys, not just tomorrow, but also on Monday night as well, too. It is going to be an absolute banger of a show. So I hopefully everything works out. And again, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow morning, excuse me. So until then, you guys take care, enjoy your Saturday night, and hopefully you guys enjoy your Sunday as well too. Take care, guys. Good night.
Rusted goalposts under fading skies, tattered flag